What's up, good people? Welcome to the FiredUp HC virtual show. Today, I have an awesome guest. He is an expert in the cryptocurrency space. He is also known as the storyteller. Man, I'm excited for this man to be here with me today. I'm honored and humble for him to be here. And today we're pretty much going to be talking about cryptocurrency. Everything now is either stocks or cryptocurrency, and I think the future is going to be cryptocurrency. So let's bring on Mr. Trekk to the Final Cases show today to school us on cryptocurrency. Welcome, 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 welcome. It's an honor to have you on the show today. How are you doing today?
I'm doing, man. It's a long day going in from
Yes.
one conversation to the next.
Dang. But man, I am honored and humbled to have you here today. For those of you who don't know who Mr. Trekk is, can you give them just a brief bio about yourself and how you got to where you are today?
I got into space. Let's say I got in a number of years before the 2017 period. I noticed I've noticed that tends to be the marker year a lot of people use nowadays. I'm not a 2011, 2012 person, but I've been around for a bit. And initially, I started off as I, I came for the money. I ended up staying for the tech. On the end of in 2018, after spending crypto, losing crypto, trying to be a trader in crypto, um, I ended up leaving my defense contracting job to actually like start a company in it. And initially, I was looking at education.
Now, shifting gears a little bit, because
Mhm.
like blockchain, a lot of people hear, cryptocurrency, they hear blockchain, but not everyone knows what it really is and why is it so much of a big deal? What is making it? Why is it so big these days? Why are people? Everyone is invested in it, and people don't even know what it is all about. Can you give us like an explanation of what it is and kind of like where it's going and stuff?
Okay, so in the basic of blockchain,
Mm-hmm.
it's data storage. It's a
Mm,
new form of data storage. Like
okay.
short, sweet, simple. It is a new form of data storage. And what makes it so interesting is the use cases as far as the money side of it when you talk about crypto or the smart contract side of it when you talk about the second kind of function once you get past the data store. Well, it all boils down to data storage.
Is this like so when I think a different way of storing something, I'm thinking, is it like Google Drive or like Apple like Drive where it's in the space, or is this some kind of AI like artificial intelligence that we're talking about, um, or something else?
So artificial intelligence is more about the processing side of data.
Mhm.
Or using it to collect data. Intelligence isn't storage. So what I'm talking about with the blockchain side is storage. Um, and so when you say well, like artificial intelligence AI is more about like how are we utilizing the stored data. So you could have an AI machine that is connected to like 8 different blockchains that have all different types of information on it. And then it processes it out and gives you this like nice little neat report package, right? Like so artificial intelligence is on that side of it. But again, the idea being is that you can store this data in a number of different ways and do it in a secure way and do it in a way where it is open to everyone. So you don't have the same type of gate guard setup, which is what you initially have when you look at things like, um, how the traditional IT companies played things out where you had like the garden, what do they call them? The garden walls, the garden, no, the gated gardens. There we go.
Okay.
Um, and so the idea is that data was in silos. It wasn't being able to be shared across different parties. And
Okay.
if it was, someone was like, "Oh, hold on, wait, I can't allow you in here." And for whatever the reason is, blockchain, in regards to the open source side of it, copy left side of it says, hey, if you have the right tools or you have the right GUI, graphic user interface, you can see what's here. Now, there are different types of information that you can end up putting onto the blockchain. Generally, for most of last decade, there was the whole thing about how Bitcoin was anonymous. Bitcoin is pseudonymous, which means like you can identify certain things, but I couldn't identify me specifically as Trekk on a blockchain unless I did something to actually write my name as a signature on that block on that transaction. What would be identified in general is like, oh, well, it happened, the transaction happened at this time. The transaction was between party A and party B, but I don't know party A is Trekk and party B is John, right? So it's not full transparency and being able to identify its pseudo, which is kind of a halfway of. And there was a lot of marketing around that narrative of it's totally anonymous. No, it wasn't. Trust me. Like a lot of people got caught up and arrested, and I would imagine the number more of people are going to get caught up and arrested because they
Yeah.
decided to use crypto to do illicit activities.
So now let me ask you this. I think this is the question that is in my mind, everyone's mind is um, the blockchain cryptocurrency is becoming like such a big deal. Like people are asking, like, how can we take advantage of this? How can we get involved with it before it's too late? What are ways that you think will be apart from trading it, which by this time is too expensive, not like trading it, but like actually getting into that market in the ways we do life or the ways we do business. How can normal person who wants to learn about and get into it, you think they can get into that space?
Okay, so I would say one, do some level of due diligence in at least trying to understand. And I'm not saying understand blockchain as far as like coding level, but at least understand things like, well, what is the difference between a public and a private blockchain? What is the difference between a um, a third party wallet and a private wallet?
Okay.
Like, because these things kind of matter in the context of if you're saying that you want to get involved, well, what level do you want to get involved at, right? Do you
Mm,
want to get involved to the level of I want to be able to quote control and hold my own crypto if that's the aspect that you're going at it from. um if you're saying this, well, I'm a business, hey, you know what? You need to spend some time and find a CPA or a book accountant booking person who actually knows this space. Like I know for me, when I really like thought about this and I said, all right, I'm gonna go public, because I'm gonna look to make this business thing. I spent like a couple of months trying to find my CPA. Like
mm,
watched her in interviews, went to see her speak at an event. I was like, okay, that's who I want. She knows what she's talking about. She's actually in the space. Yes. But that's just me though, right? And part of it was I'm in an American jurisdiction.
okay.
I have to be on my P's and Q's about this as far as if you haven't paid any attention to the space, the American government talks one thing publicly and then does some other things sideways on the other side. And then we also have certain states that do certain things to make it a lot harder for businesses to arise in the space based on blockchain technology, no
Mm,
matter what the use case is. So New York is a perfect example of that,
okay.
which is diametrically opposed to what like Wyoming and Nevada and I think like what Florida is trying to work its direction towards, where it's more regulatory friendly to businesses that are going to end up being related or based on blockchain technology. Now, again, like if you're looking at it and saying how do I get into this? What are you trying to get into? Are you a business direction person? Definitely look into the CPA thing because it's
Okay.
gonna matter. Are you somebody who's just talking about, oh, I want to trade and do that? I will also again say look into the CPA thing. But the trading is a lot more work than I think most people initially think. You see all these, videos on YouTube, and you see these people on TikTok just telling you, oh yeah, do blah blah blah. I've been at this long enough to know trading isn't my cup of tea, but for the people that I know who trade, like they do the work. Like they read up on the projects, they study the charts. Like if you're not about that life, not necessarily the way you want to go. And I'm not saying this to discourage people and say don't try and figure out what part of the space you want to be in, whether you end up being a trader, whether you end up being somebody who is a hodler, which is somebody who holds on for dear life as the acronym goes, which just means like you're a long-term investor.
Okay.
Or you end up being somebody who says, well, you know what? Let me start a business that is based on this technology and has a use case. Or let me start a business that I can charge in cryptocurrency. And there are multiple companies out there now that can be your payment rails in order for you to be able to charge your customers, your clients, your end users in cryptocurrency and in fiat, or you could just do one. Like,
Okay.
so it's different ways to get in. And the crazy thing to me now is like, it is so much easier, like so much easier now than what it was like 5, 6 years ago. Right. And even if you don't want to start a company, even if you don't want to do the trading, right? Well, cryptojobslist.com, like they literally show real jobs in the blockchain crypto space. They show salaries of people who actually have jobs from the companies that were on that, posted on the site. I'm not saying every job is on there, but like program manager, lawyers, and it's not all tech jobs, content writer, media manager, community development person, project development person, like traditional job skill sets and knowledge base are the people who make these companies work. It doesn't
Okay.
just work off of magic,
Okay.
and it's not just the technical devs, coders that make these companies work. They need legal teams, they need HR, they need, I can't even think, like a controller person as far as like who deals with managing the human resources. There we go.
Yes.
But yeah, it's
Okay.
different ways.
Yes. So, man, that is so informative because all I think about is trading part of it, which is not easy, and which also at this point in time, I think for me, trading crypto as high as it is right now, unless you're buying companies who deal with crypto, it's a really high risk thing to
Yes.
do. Now we're coming towards the end of the show, but I want to ask you this: what is your final word for people out there who either want to learn into either going into the blockchain industry, or people who want to build their brand in, in a way that you think would be effective?
Okay, so on the blockchain side, I'm gonna say check out Bitcoin in Black America. That's Isaiah Jackson.
Okay.
He's been on CNBC and sorry, CMNBC, CSNBC. I always mess up their thing. I don't
Is it
watch traditional.
MSNBC,
Eh,
CNN,
no, it's not
MSNBC,
CNN. It's not
MSNBC?
MSC. Who's
Oh,
with the C?
CNBC. It should be CNBC then.
Okay, so he's been on there a couple of times. He's been on Anthony Papiano's stuff a couple of times. Him and King do a podcast where they talk about stuff, but his book really breaks down the rudimentary stuff of understanding the tech and not like talking at you as a coder, just a regular person. And he's been in the space for a while, so he knows his stuff. And again, it's called Bitcoin in Black America. Anybody can read the book.
Okay.
Okay, the knowledge is universal. As far as the building the hashtag brand echo, Um, I would say in that regards, don't be afraid to experiment. Like be consistency as far as like continually putting something out, but don't be afraid to experiment. Like no matter what platform you're on, um, don't be afraid to experiment and be careful not to fall into like wave jumping. And when I say wave jumping, I mean it as what's the trendy thing to do? Like you get on after it is already the set trend. That's just personally, that's just my like take on it.
Yes.
But you know,
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. Man, this definitely insightful. I think I learned more than I thought I knew about cryptocurrency because all I knew is actually cryptocurrency and the companies that trade or do exchange or mine it. But definitely a lot of insights. And I want to say thank you, Mr. Trekk, for coming on the Fight Up KC show. So how can people get in contact with you? People who want to connect with you, how can they look you up or check you out?
you know what's funny, and this goes into the brand echo thing. As far as the algos, you can literally just put in TREKKW, the number two KS. So it stands for Trek with two Ks. You don't need a special character. I don't even. It took me 2 years to do this. You put that in any search engine, my content comes up.
Sweet.
Between
Dang.
the
Okay.
LinkedIn, between Twitter, IG, the YouTube stuff, podcast, all of it comes up. It took me a while, but like I had to again put in
Dang.
the work consistently. And so you
Dang.
don't need any special characters to find me.
Dang.
Just
Okay.
TREKK.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you again for coming on the show. I really appreciate you. I really enjoyed our conversation, and we definitely learned a lot. And for those of you who are watching today, hey, go to YouTube at Fight Up KC, Spotify, Instagram, LinkedIn. Please follow, subscribe, and if you want to watch this, you can also go to Roku at King Kim Young TV. Please subscribe. But thank you guys again for joining us today. It's been the Fight Up KC show, and I'm your host Z. See you guys next time.